The Sports Broadcasting Network continues its pattern of injecting racial dynamics into athletic discussions rather than focusing purely on basketball performance and sporting achievements. Through calculated messaging or deliberate editorial choices, the network consistently attempts to ignite racial controversies within professional sports coverage. The current strategy involves drawing parallels between Caitlin Clark's situation and Cooper Flagg's upcoming NBA entry as the top draft selection acquired by Dallas this week. Flagg's potential popularity in professional basketball seems likely, assuming his skills translate effectively to the higher level. A significant distinction exists between Clark and Flagg's circumstances. Clark remained in collegiate basketball extensively, developing a substantial supporter base that subsequently followed her professional transition, which is true. And says there's always room for growth from officiating. Fisher said, I do find it interesting when you sit in the chair I sit in that no winning team ever complains with officiating, no losing team ever complains with officiating. Do you want to know what coach complains with officiating more than anyone else? The Minnesota Lynx? The Minnesota Lynx? Do you want to know what game started the biggest what two games started the biggest refereeing talks in the WNBA? The racial tensions surrounding Clark's WNBA experience represent a genuine phenomenon, with evidence of hostility directed toward her based on skin tone. However, personal lifestyle choices may constitute an even more significant factor driving animosity from fellow WNBA athletes. A crucial difference emerges when considering NBA dynamics versus WNBA culture. Professional basketball players demonstrate considerably less pettiness and jealousy compared to their female counterpart. International stars like Luka Doncic and Nikola Jokic have witnessed talented white players succeed previously. Players such as Dirk Nowitzki established precedents for European success. While Flagg represents an American prospect, the reaction likely differs significantly. NBA athletes earn substantially higher salaries and operate within a more established entertainment framework. LeBron James even recruited Doncic to the Lakers organization. Despite well-documented tensions regarding racial perspectives, the professional men's league lacks the petty jealousy characterizing women's basketball. The WNBA previously attracted minimal viewership before Clark's arrival. Her presence literally generated massive audience growth, yet this success angered existing players rather than creating gratitude. The paradox involves athletes becoming upset about increased revenue opportunities and expanded visibility. Last 2 years, the Indiana Fever versus the Chicago Sky, McKenny Carter hip check Caitlin Clark. Who won that game? The Indiana Fever. And the Indiana Fever versus Connecticut Sun, where they basically mauled Caitlin Clark and got away with it. They played pinball with her. And what happened? Who won that game? The Indiana Fever. The Indiana Fever. Statistics confirm Flagg's historic significance as the first American-born white player selected first overall since Kent Benson in 1977. His popularity already rivals Larry Bird's impact among American-born white basketball players. Other talented white players like Chris Mullin achieved Hall of Fame status and considerable popularity, yet Flagg's circumstances appear unique. The broadcasting network hopes to manufacture similar racial controversies surrounding Flagg's career trajectory. Media coverage actively contributed to Clark's difficulties by defending established WNBA veterans while attacking her supporters and fan base. Peter Rosenberg, associated with both the network and Hot 97 Radio in New York, exemplifies problematic commentary approaches. His background includes surrounding himself with diverse colleagues to demonstrate progressive credentials and social awareness. His wrestling entertainment hosting and perceived basketball expertise contribute to inflammatory discussions. Rosenberg's commentary directly attempts to create racial conflict around Flagg, while connecting these manufactured tensions to Clark's legitimate struggles. His approach represents the network's singular strategy, identifying opportunities to introduce racial elements into sports coverage. Is straight up the situation where every single team knows how bad the refereeing is. There is a problem in the league, and it's like everybody knows there's a problem in the league. You have got like people going on ESPN that are like having evolved the league for years, and they're like, the problem with the league isn't that there's no physical, isn't even the physicality. It's like where the physicality is, and it's like no one complains if you The commentary becomes particularly ridiculous when considering that athletic success stems from dedication, training, and supportive family environments rather than racial characteristics. Parents who consistently challenge their children to seek higher competition levels deserve recognition for developing exceptional talent. Without live sporting events, the broadcasting network would likely cease operations entirely. Their programming quality continues declining, with studio shows experiencing significant ratings drops and increasingly poor content quality. The observation about WNBA demographics highlights the absurdity of manufactured controversies. Only one white player currently moves viewership metrics significantly, making racial comparisons particularly hollow. Statistical evidence overwhelmingly demonstrates Clark's transformative impact on league popularity and financial success. Flag's potential impact likely won't reach Clark's transformative levels, nor will he face comparable hostility. NBA players' substantial salaries and established television contracts create different competitive dynamics. While Flag may generate ratings increases, the dramatic viewership jumps seen in women's basketball seem unlikely. If significant audience growth occurs, NBA players might experience jealousy, yet respect typically follows demonstrated performance. Larry Bird faced similar challenges during his era, which influenced suggestions for his involvement with Indiana Fever coaching. His experience navigating racial tensions, combined with similar playing styles and Indiana connections, created logical mentoring opportunities. Allow physicality to post. No one's complaining if you're allowing physicality between bigs trying to fight it out, like that's basketball. But they were like, you're not only just allowing hand checking, you're allowing players to be grabbed off the ball, which is 100% true. The problem is that nobody wants physicality with guards off the ball. And it's one thing there's a difference between calling touch fouls and allowing players to be grabbed. And that's the problem with WNBA refs. Everyone says it. It's like, they will call a foul. The broadcasting approach will inevitably attempt creating racial divisions around Flag's career. Stephen A. Smith, Peter Rosenberg, and similar personalities represent the network's standard operational methodology. They consistently amplified Clark's controversies rather than providing factual reporting that could have reduced tensions. Promoting Angel Reese as a superstar competitor while fanning inflammatory coverage further complicated Clark's professional transition. The network chose sensationalism over responsible journalism, adding fuel to existing conflicts rather than providing balanced coverage. The fundamental question involves whether Flag will experience similar treatment to Clark's hostile reception. The evidence suggests negative outcomes seem unlikely given the structural differences between professional men's and women's basketball cultures, player compensation levels, and established precedents for successful white American players. The WNBA media landscape demonstrates clear bias patterns when evaluating fan reactions to player decisions. The standard appears inconsistent when players negatively impact other organizations. Media coverage treats it as legitimate news. When players harm the Fever organization, fan displeasure receives blame and criticism. Phantom foul, and then 30 seconds later allow somebody to be rugby tackled. It is what it is. Again, Deja Knight Carrington got a technical foul rescinded for winding up because she missed someone's head by an inch. It is all around just not a situation that anyone wants to have to deal with. This entire league is not in a good spot for this. This is not good for the league. And the commissioner saying, Dana Bonner's legacy situation illustrates this double standard perfectly. Despite her legendary status, her final career chapter will likely overshadow previous achievements due to personal choices. Had she requested a trade, played remaining games professionally, and been released with dignity, fan reactions would have remained positive. Bonner previously praised the Indiana fan base as exceptional, describing unprecedented support levels and community engagement. She mentioned being unable to visit grocery stores without enthusiastic fan interactions about team performance. This demonstrates the fan base's genuine appreciation for committed players. Fan loyalty typically remains strong when players demonstrate maximum effort, regardless of performance limitations. Natasha Howard exemplifies this principle despite obvious skill deficiencies, as fans recognize her dedication. Her contract situation may mirror Erica Wheeler's trajectory. Wheeler's example proves fan appreciation for veteran leadership despite declining performance. She supported Caitlin Clark consistently, accepted reduced roles gracefully, and became highly popular league-wide after transitioning to Seattle. Her current success validates the Indiana fan base's judgment. Bonner received extensive opportunities from Fever supporters even during poor performance periods. Her decision to abandon the team naturally generates anger among fans who invested emotional support. The WNBA media cannot legitimately regulate fan emotional responses to player actions by basically saying, you know what, this isn't a big deal, it's just people complaining when they lose. Like, it's not as simple as that. It's not as simple as that. Like, it's absolutely not as simple as that, because if you guys have seen the teams that are complaining, Cheryl Reeve complains more than anyone else. Are the Lynx losing? No, they're the best team in the WNBA. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing, lads? What are we doing? And we are now attempting to control fan reactions fundamentally undermines sports entertainment value. When media figures try restricting emotional investment in athletic competition, the entire sporting experience becomes meaningless. Fans must be allowed to express opinions, even when those opinions seem unreasonable. Everyone involved in sports commentary makes incorrect predictions and poor judgments. These mistakes become amplified based on platform size and audience reach. The current situation represents a poor judgment by WNBA media figures that deserves criticism due to its widespread influence. The quoted sentiment about players who don't want to participate reflects legitimate fan frustration. Similar situations occur across professional sports. Miami Heat supporters will likely oppose Jimmy Butler due to his behavior, while Philadelphia fans despise Ben Simmons for comparable reasons. Media coverage shows remarkable bias, with almost no balanced perspectives available. Christine Brennan represents one of the few commentators willing to criticize Bonner's actions. Clear biases exist both supporting and opposing Clark, yet few truly neutral voices provide balanced analysis. Social media differs significantly from traditional media because content creators typically acknowledge their biases openly rather than claiming objectivity. Fan channels clearly state their preferences, making bias transparent rather than hidden behind professional journalism claim, or essentially saying, you know what, like, it doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter how, like, that players are complaining, or that teams are complaining, that coaches are complaining, that fans are complaining. We don't care, you know, oh, they're just complaining because they're losing. Man, like, the biggest, by the way, I'm trying to think of Fever games Fevers have lost, the games Fever have lost. Again, with Game of Clark, no one's really complaining about the refs in the Aces game. Did the referees make most content creators face blocking from establishment media figures who cannot tolerate alternative perspectives? The irony involves these same media personalities blocking critics while claiming moral authority over fan behavior and emotional responses. Bonner's Hall of Fame credentials remain unquestionable, yet this doesn't exempt her from criticism regarding her departure from Indiana. Fever fans have legitimate reasons for anger about her decision to leave the organization. Policing fan emotions essentially eliminates sports entertainment value. Athletic competition requires emotional investment from supporters, including the right to dislike rivals and criticize players who harm their preferred teams. Normal sports fan reactions include opposing players who negatively impact their organizations. When media attempts to restrict these natural responses, the fundamental appeal of sports disappears. Fans must be allowed to support their teams passionately, make incorrect predictions, and express frustration about disappointing performances or departures. Freedom of speech doesn't eliminate consequences for public statements. Internet comments remain permanently accessible for criticism and review. Everyone faces potential backlash for public opinions, including professional athletes who make controversial decisions. The same WNBA media figures who regularly criticize fan opinions now protect Bonner from similar scrutiny. This inconsistent standard reveals bias rather than principled journalism. Players exercise personal freedom but cannot escape the natural consequences of their choices, particularly when those decisions harm team success and fan loyalty. Make some bad calls for cases, yeah, that's not why they lost the game. The Atlanta Dream game with Caitlin at 27, that was on Stephanie White. That was on Stephanie White. That most definitely was not on the referees. I'm trying to think what other games there were. But like the guards are refereed really badly in the league, unless they're pull-up mid-range shooters. The referees, by the way, will let guards get mauled going to the basket. And it's the worst part about the referees is there's three of them. So one of the three referees is Recent commentary from WNBA leadership exposed troubling perspectives regarding officiating concerns throughout the league. Commissioner Cathy Engelbert's statements about refereeing quality revealed problematic attitudes when addressing legitimate complaints from players and coaching staff. The commissioner's response to officiating criticism demonstrated concerning dismissiveness of actual performance issues. Her assertion that winning teams never complain about referees, while losing squads always voice concerns, oversimplifies complex officiating problems affecting league credibility and competitive balance. The observation about winning teams avoiding officiating complaints contains obvious logical flaws. Teams benefiting from favorable calls naturally avoid criticizing advantageous treatment, while disadvantaged squads rightfully express frustration about inconsistent enforcement and missed violation. Indiana Fever consistently receives unfavorable treatment from game officials.